Hi, welcome to my video on Solve by Quadratic Formula, Part 3. A is not negative or a fraction. So when I do factoring, or when I do the quadratic formula, or when I do completing the square, I try not to have the leading term negative, and I try not to have any fractions. So let's go over that skill. Write each such that a is greater than 0, no negatives, and a has the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So again, I do not want a to be negative when I do factoring or when I do quadratic formula. That's just me. That's the way I do it. So let's go do some examples. Notice that negative x squared minus 4x plus 3 equals 0. So I will multiply by negative 1. X squared plus 4x minus 3. Negative 1 times negative is positive. So when you multiply everything by negative 1, plus, minus, and a negative 1 times 0 is 0. And I have to have it in this descending order on this side. So I have a negative x squared plus 6x minus 3 equals 0. I move the x over to make it negative. Now I have a negative. I will multiply by negative 1. So it's x squared minus 6x plus 3 equals 0. Now, again, some people, some people think that if you got your x squared there, leave it there and go 0 there and move the 6x to the right, move the negative 3 to the right, and you get x squared minus 6x plus 3 with 0 here. But then you can flip the whole equation around and get this, so it's your choice. But I believe in doing the same skill, that move all, if I want it equal to 0, everything moves to the left side, and then I take it from there. C, negative 6x squared plus 9x minus 5 equals 0. And again, equal to 0. All terms go on the left side. Multiply by negative 1. I get a 6x squared minus 9x plus 5. So multiplying by negative 1 changes all the signs, except 0 times negative 1 is 0. And D, we have to simplify. Get rid of the brackets first. By negative 4x times x is negative 4x squared. Negative 4x times negative 2 is a positive 8x. And I'm going to move the 11 over now and make it negative. And I'm going to remove the negative by multiplying by negative 1. 4x squared minus 8x plus 11 equals 0. Do not want the leading term to be negative, so I multiply all the terms by negative 1. Practice. So practice, I will write it in descending order, right? Is a square, an x, and a number, so I multiply by negative 1. So I get a 2x squared minus 12x plus 3 equals 0. And I move all variables to the left in descending order, so the negative 3x squared becomes 3x squared. The negative 8x becomes a plus 8x. The plus 4 becomes a minus 4 equal to 0. So I have it in the right order, and an A is not negative. Perfect. Number 3. Again, you can pause your video and work each one of these, or you can do that at any time. That's why I show you some samples, how to work it, and then you can work yours for practice. Remove the brackets, so 2 times x, 2 times negative 3. X times x, x squared, x times negative 1, negative x. And now I'll remove everything. X squared goes over, plus 2x, plus x, minus 6 equals 0. So x squared moved over to become negative. 2x is positive. The negative x becomes positive because it moved to the transpose. 6 didn't. And we simplify, which we should do, makes it easier. So if you add your like terms, you get 3x. Now you multiply by negative 1. So you get x squared minus 3x plus 6 equals 0. Perfect. No negative in my first term, which is what I want, and is in the right order, ax squared plus bx plus c. And number 4, I have a negative x squared plus 10x minus 7 equals 0. Then I'll multiply by negative 1. I got an x squared, an x, and a number. So negative times negative is a positive. Negative times a positive is a negative. Negative times a negative is a positive. Negative 1 times 0 is 0. Done. So that's the way I work it. I have no negative in my first term. The ax squared term should be positive. And that's good for when you do the quadratic formula, and that's good for when you do the factoring. And another one, write each such that a, b, and c are integers and have the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So I have to write it in descending order in this form right here. And a, b, and c are integers. That means a is greater than 0 also. A is not negative, remember. And also, means you're going to have integers, which means you're not going to have any fractions. So notice I have a fraction, half. So the LCD is 2. So I'm going to multiply all terms by 2. If I multiply every term by 2, I'm multiplying both sides by 2. 2 times a half cancels, so I get an x squared. 2 times 3 is 6x. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 0 is 0. So I have it in the right order, ax squared plus bx plus c. And I have a is positive, and I have no fractions. And b, I have fractions, so common denominator is only 1, denominator is 3. So I'll multiply each term by 3. And the reason I put 3 for each term, because when you're canceling your fractions, you can see your canceling going on. So 3 cancels with 3, so you get a 1, so 1 times 2x squared. And you don't cancel here, so it's a negative 3 times 6 is negative 18x. You don't cancel here, so you get negative 3 times 1. And 3 times 0 is 0. And this is perfect. It's a x squared x number, and no fractions, and a is positive. So let's do some practice. So we have a common denominator. It's only one denominator, so we have to multiply all the terms by 4, because the common denominator is 4. So I put 4 down. So 4 times every term, 4 cancels, and I get 1x squared or x squared. Negative 4 times 2x, negative 8x. Negative, or 4 times 3 is 12, and 4 times 0 is 0. Now, I have two fractions. I have 1/3 and negative 7 over 2. So the LCD now is common denominator for 3 and 2 is 6. So I will multiply all terms by 6. Done. Now 3 into 6 goes 2. So 2 times 1x squared is a 2x squared. No cancellation here, so that's a plus 12x. I can cancel here. 2 into 6 goes 3. So 3 times negative 7 is a negative 21. But I need it equal to 0, so x squared goes first, then the x, and then the constant. So the 21 moves over to become plus. And now we have some more examples. But this time I have, notice, I have a fraction and I have a negative. So we're going to do, the LCD is 4. So we're going to multiply by 4 first to get rid of the fraction. So I multiply by 4. So 4 into 4 goes once, so I get a negative x squared plus 12x minus 8 equals 0. And now I multiply by negative 1. So x squared minus 12x plus 8 equals 0. So we're doing 2. We're eliminating the fraction, but no, we don't want any denominators. And we're getting rid of the negative. So I'll do 2 individually. So here, the LCD is 6, so I multiply each term by 6. So 6 times negative x squared is a negative 6x squared. 6 cancels, and I get a 1 times negative x, which is negative x. And the 3 and the 6 goes 2, so 2 times 2 is 4. So the denominator's Notice the 6 and the 3 cancel. And I have descending order, so the x moves over to become a plus, the 4 moves over to become a minus, and have it in the right order, but I'm not supposed, or I do not want a negative in my leading terms, so I multiply by negative 1. 6x squared minus x plus 4 equals 0. And practice. Notice now, I do not want any fractions, but also we do not want any decimals. So there's 1 decimal place here, 1 decimal place here. So I will multiply by 10. When I multiply by 10, the decimals will become whole numbers. So let's multiply each term by 10. Because I have 1 decimal place, 10 times decimal 2 is a 2. 10 times 1.4 is 14. 10 times 3 is negative 30, and 10 times 0 is 0. So notice now when I got a decimal, whatever, if you have 2 decimal places, then you multiply everything by 100. So whatever you need to multiply by 10, 100, or 1,000, so that they're all integers. And number 2, I have a common denominator for 2, 3, and 12. Sorry, 2, 3, and 4, and the LCD is 12. So I multiply all terms by 12. Let's get rid of the fraction first. So we multiply all terms by 12. That means all denominators should divide into the LCD. So 2 into 12 goes 6. So that gives me 6 times negative 1x squared. So it's a negative 6x squared. 3 into 12 goes 4. So it gives me negative 4x. 4 into 12 goes 3. It gives me negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. 12 times 0 is 0. So I multiplied all of them terms by 12. All denominators canceled. Perfect. Now I want to get rid of the negative, so I multiply by negative 1. Negative 1 will change all the signs. Plus 6x squared plus 4x plus 9. And a negative 1 times 0 is 0. Any number multiplied by 0 times a number is 0. And we simplified the equation. We need to do that, and that's what I do before I start the quadratic formula, is have no decimals, no fractions, and have the leading term positive. But some teachers don't do that, but I do. I have a positive, no fraction, no decimals. And if you like my video, click the like button, the subscribe button, and notification bell. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. And that's the content that's on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye-bye.